What's going on, guys? This is 01SEP23 Dfs here to bring you another WNBA slate breakdown for the 3-game WNBA slate we got for today. Ugh. If you guys are new here and you guys have not done so already, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss any of the content we're putting out on the channel. If you guys have not noticed or realized, I have been dropping Okay, now we're back. My bad, guys. I don't know what happened, but I lost connection for a second. It is now back connected. So if you guys play this back and you guys see a weird dead spot, black spot, or whatever, just lost connection for a second, but we're back. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content. Like I said, been putting out a lot of college football stuff since the season started. All of my college football stuff, I'll make sure it goes. Not only do you get it on the Patreon, but I at least put out a core on the community tab so you guys can see that right there as well. And last night, if you played the core of what I put out and you had the right fill-ins using the player pool that I gave you, you guys should have cashed, because I cashed pretty handily last night in college football. It was a great week one start. We got a slate for tonight. We got a slate on Saturday, and we're just going to keep it rolling. So if you guys are looking for some college football content, hopefully I can bring some videos to you guys soon. But with WNBA, kind of the primary focus on getting these videos out, but working on some things to definitely get more of that stuff out to you guys. Looking at the slate, I'm gonna have to break this down pretty quickly. Waiting for BK to be able to come in and join me, but gonna break it down real quick. Go over some stuff, some pretty hefty injury news that we have to worry about. Team on a back-to-back and things like that. I'm gonna give you as much nuggets as I can. As soon as BK gets here, we'll get his pick his brain as always. Get some good quality notes and things from him as well. And yeah, we're just gonna roll through this thing. Hopefully, you guys cashed last night. We gave some pretty good nuggets, some pretty good thoughts last night on the slate. BK was right on the head when he talked about playing Shook Sutton as one of your primary plays. Come to find out, of course, DT, she was out. Sutton started. Sutton went out there. She smashed it, destroyed it. If you faded AT and played some of the other studs around on the slate, you didn't do too bad. AT priced up at 11.9, highest priced player on the slate. Went out there and she only dropped 38 fantasy points. So it was right there. It was very good if you went ahead and you faded that. You played Jewel Lloyd or something like that in the line. So all in all, some very good nuggets and stuff that we gave out on the slate. And hopefully we can do that again for you here today. If you guys have not done so already, make sure you guys drop a like on the video. It helps me out, helps the algorithm out, and let other people who are looking for WNBA content or just content period on sports that we cover be able to find us. Going over to the injury news, like I said, we do have some hefty injury news that we have to actually worry about and consider on today's slate. For the Dallas Wings taking on the Fever, our girl Satu, she should be back for today's game after coming off that ankle injury. This is a great spot for her to come back in, going up against the Indiana Fever. Definitely, really, we already know Fever. They're a poor defensive team, so definitely would expect a great game from Satu in this position. But now with Satu coming back, we have news that Natasha Howard, she's going to be out today. So that's a blow to the front court for them, but at the same time, it's not too bad because we will see our girl a walk. She should get the start once again here in this position and spot. Outside of that, everyone else, same old for the Dallas Wings. For the Indiana Fever, we have a game time decision tag right now on Aaliyah Boston. Boston, she jammed her thumb in the last game. Actually ended up missing most of the second half in that game. So again, if Boston's going to be out, I wouldn't be surprised if they were to start Cannon. And we've talked about this before on the slate, that Cannon was slid into the starting lineup, went out there and dominated in that spot right there for her. But right now, it still just has her listed as questionable with that thumb. So hopefully, since it's the first game in the slate, we will have that news before then. For the Connecticut Sun, we already got word that Dejanay Carrington, she's going to be out once again with that foot. They are on a back-to-back, so interesting to see if possibly maybe they rest anybody. I mean, they kind of got the top seed locked up and whatnot, so I definitely want to pay attention to that news right there. Definitely something I want to monitor. And then for the New York Liberty, we have word and news that Sabrina Ionescu right now, she is questionable for her to play as well today. If Sabrina was to miss, that would be interesting. She did not participate in Friday's shoot around. She's dealing with a calf injury. Would not be surprised if she was to miss, especially since she did not participate in shoot around. But then again, yesterday, we didn't expect for Sykes to go ahead and play after dealing with a sickness. This, granted, is a little bit different. It's a calf, it's a muscle. You kind of need that explosiveness run around on the court. So definitely want to monitor and make sure and see if Sabrina is going to play or not. For the Atlanta Dream, no news. For the Minnesota Lynx, we already got word that Jessica Shepard, she's going to miss tonight's game. So that should go ahead and slide our girl Dorka back into the starting lineup. And that's pretty much just the injury news and stuff that we have for these teams right here. If you guys are looking for that, if you guys just type in RotoWire or if you use Underdog on Twitter, either one of those things, you can go ahead and see the update and news for the lineups and things like that as it goes ahead and it comes out for the day. All right, with that being said, we're going to go over and go to DraftKings, the site that we play the most on, the site that's been winning us this money throughout the season. If you guys don't have an account and you want one, check the link down in the description below so you guys can go ahead and get that deposit match bonus. So the way you guys can join in on this right here. Keel, thank you. I was right about that Jewel Lloyd 3-point attempt. She has gone over it in all the games going up against the Sparks, and she went out there, even though she didn't hit it, even though she did not hit it, she still was chucking them threes, man. And Lloyd and White's threes, it was ridiculous. They were shooting, but they just were not making it. It was a weird game, nonetheless. But that's what you get with the Storm, man. That's honestly what you get. But hey, Kia Nurse coming in, pretty much icing that game, knocking down a deep three and then a second chance three, killed that game. It was done. Storm, they playing spoilers right now, so definitely. Well, all in all, it was a tight game. It was a good game. But all right, going into this game right here, first game on the slate, Dallas Wings. My Dallas Wings taking on the Indiana Fever. I'm gonna go over this pretty quickly. When BK comes in, if he has any notes and stuff, I'll go back over some stuff. But like I said, I have some other stuff I have to do this afternoon, so I got to get this out to you guys quick because I still have other content I got to do. But if you guys got any questions, drop them down in the comment section. If you guys got any prop questions, drop them. I will answer those with BK. BK, he really deals with more of the prop stuff. If I see something that sticks out, I will jump on it. Like I'll tell you right now, Tierra McCowan, her rebounds. If Aaliyah Boston was to miss tonight, I would take Tierra McCowan's rebounds. I would honestly take Tierra McCowan's rebounds either way going up against the Fever anyway, because in this position spot, she's pretty much has smashed her former team. 10, 7, 14, and 7 rebounds. So if they got to sit in like 7.5, 8, 8.5, shit, even at 9, because Natasha Howard is going to be out tonight, the rebounding chance for Tierra McCowan will go up simply because you're missing your second leading rebounder, because Natasha, she averaged herself 8 rebounds a game. Now you're going to be missing that 8 rebound a game player. That is going to allow Tierra McCowan to get quite a bit more rebounds in the spot when she's already averaging 9 rebounds a game. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes like here and she snags 10 rebounds. So that's how I do my prop stuff. BK, he really digs into the stuff a little bit more, stuff like that. So, but yeah, that would be one of my favorite prop plays on today's slate. So if you guys are going to ask me for one, Tierra McCowan rebounds, if it is up on the board. I have not looked to see if it is yet. But anyway, going into the breakdown, looking at it. Sorry if I'm talking fast, but of course, trying to get the stuff out to you guys. Satou Arike would be the top 2 plays that I would look to in this position. Arike, in the game that she played going up against Ian and Fever, she went out here and she smacked them up. I want to say she dropped like a 50 plus, if I'm not mistaken. 45 fantasy point game, 28 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. Love it. Indiana Fever, they gave up quite a bit of points to opposing point guards anyway. Would probably be my top guard play on today's slate. I really just don't see any way around it. Dallas needs to win. Arike, no Natasha Howard. There's going to be more shots to go around, period, for your main starters inside to Arike and Tierra McCowan. Granted, we know how they are with Tierra. Sometimes they don't go to her. They won't let her, even if she has a matchup, she has a seal on the inside. A lot of her points kind of come from her getting putbacks or getting to the foul line anyway. But I do like Arike. The shot attempt should be there. We do know Indiana Fever, poor against opposing guards. Love the spot for her. Satu Sabali, she should have the matchup and the size advantage going up against Kirsten Wallace or whoever it is that they have in the starting lineup going up against her. I know it's going to be a little iffy with her coming back off of the ankle injury, but nonetheless, they need to win. We've seen that she pretty much is the glue, the gel for this team in that starting lineup. Her assist, her rebounding, her defense that she brings to the table, all of that is needed anyway. And with Natasha Howard being out, it's going to give a boost to her either way with her in this position spot. So I don't hate her at 10-5. That right there. And then Tierra McCowan, I already just went and showed you guys, but the matchup, the history that she has going up against her former team. This is a revenge spot, revenge narrative, if you want to believe that at all. The Indiana Fever were the ones who actually drafted Tierra McCowan. They traded her, gave her away like she was just a rag doll on the street. They didn't want her no more. But you know what, Dallas, we took a chance and we took her. And in her 4 games that she has played going up against them, she has nothing less than 30 fantasy points. If you want to run a stack of Arike and Tierra McCowan, I love that idea. That is a beautiful actual 2-man stack that I would take from this game, and possibly something that I myself am leaning heavy on if I could find the value to build in and get everything else that I want on this slate. Kind of got an idea where I want to go on this slate, and I personally, I'm loving this slate. This looks like a really nice slate. All teams pretty much that the main 2 teams that I want to target have something to play for, and teams that we should see the best from them, especially from the Stars, and the defensive matchups that they have are matchups that they should be able to exploit. So yeah, really do like this spot for my girl Tierra McCowan as well. Now everyone else, Crystal Dangerfield, Kalani Brown, Awak should be slid into the starting lineup here for Natasha Howard being out, and then Kalani Brown should get a little bit more minutes as well, backing up Tierra McCowan, or possibly seeing a twin tower effect of Kalani and Tierra McCowan. Wouldn't be surprised at that. But Awak sitting at 5'4". We've seen it already. She has started the past 2 games for Satu Sabali, 25 and 17 fantasy points. I'd say if she's going to be able to start again, at least get 25 minutes, she possibly can go out here and at least get us no less than maybe I'll go with about 15 fantasy points-ish in this position, this spot. Against the Fever, she only played 7 minutes earlier this season, giving us 2 fantasy points. In the one game that she did play 26 minutes, that was last year in 2022, she did go out there and drop 26 fantasy points. That was without Aaliyah Boston, but everyone else is still the same on this team as well. So if you need to drop down, if you don't want to play a Tierra McCowan and you want to get the value, still play up for Arike. I would pair Arike with one of her forwards. But if doing anything from here, I don't want to do a double forward thing, because to me that's going to take up too many of my forward slots, and I want to save that for some of the other players that I want inside the other games in the other positions and spots. That's just my building standpoint from it, but you can definitely run 2 forwards if you want to from this. Going over to the Indiana Fever side, covering for the Aaliyah Boston. If Boston was to miss, again, I would expect Cannon to be slid into the starting lineup. The last time Cannon was slid into the starting lineup, we've seen it going up against the Phoenix Mercury on the 1st of August. 31 minutes, dropped 36.75 fantasy points. We've seen it as soon as she was put into that lineup. She pretty much was the focal point. She was taking so many shots, 8 of 17, destroyed the slate, and she was what? I want to say she was actually cheaper in that matchup. It felt like she was cheaper, but 36.75 fantasy points. I could see her going out here having a decent game. I know she can stretch the floor, unlike some other bigs that they would be able to put out there. I still feel like she would get bodied by Tierra McCowan either way, but at 4,700, I don't mind going to that as a play that you could possibly go to, that you can look to here on the spot as well. Nalissa Smith, if Boston was to miss, maybe yes, you go out here and have an uptick in shot attempts, rebounds, or something like that. If her shot is falling and she's actually out here being able to do her thing, in 25 minutes, she dropped 27 fantasy points. I don't hate the matchup for her, but not something that I'm feeling like I have to go to, especially at that price at 9.2. There's another forward I'd rather get to versus going to Nalissa Smith. Especially you can get Tierra McCowan. Just pay in order to go up there to the Tierra McCowan. And then in this other game, you got Jonquil Jones sitting there at 9.6. So she's right there where I would rather just pay up for some of the other guard forwards that are in this position for her. Now, if I'm going to take something from the Indiana Fever, I would look towards their guards, Kelsey Mitchell, Erica Wheeler, Grace Berger. All these players, we already know if the shot is falling, they're going to put up some pretty great numbers. Erica Wheeler, she's had 2 back-to-back dud games. Definitely a spot she could possibly bounce back. The Dallas Wings, they do bleed fantasy points to opposing guards. It's one of the things that we suck at, and we have sucked continuously throughout the season, is guarding opposing guards. We've seen it time in and time out again. So if you want to take a chance on Erica Wheeler, definitely see that right there. But Kelsey Mitchell will probably be a girl sitting here at the 8-8 price range. If we've seen it, she has pretty much been consistent over her last couple games, 20 plus fantasy points in all 5 of her last games, and 3 out of those last 5, she has put up over 30 fantasy points. She's been on a scorching tear, and if this could become a shootout type game between Dallas and the Indiana Fever, I wouldn't be surprised if Kelsey Mitchell was a main benefactor and a main part of why it has become a shootout. So definitely something I would take a look at if I'm looking at someone I want to run from the Fever as well. And then Grace Berger. So my only thing with Grace is looking at it. If she's going to be able to get the minutes, I would think that the Fever want to go big, considering that is what Dallas plays. Only way I see Grace getting those minutes of the 20 plus minutes in this matchup would be is if Erica Wheeler is struggling again in this spot. Maybe they would rather run Grace. She is the better playmaker in my eyes. She's very good at getting the ball to where it needs to be, play some pretty decent defense, and then her 3-point shot is actually good. So I can see that if you want to come off of the pivot of Erica Wheeler, you feel like Wheeler is going to struggle once again in this position and spot. Definitely could take a chance on Grace, but the price at 6-1, I don't feel like I have to go to her today. Don't feel like you have to. Everyone else on this team, all GPP options, not really something I'm going to. Crystal Wallace went out there. She had she got there off of points alone. 20 points, 22 fantasy points at 5'3". Still sitting at 5'3". GPP option, not something that I feel like you have to go through. If you land on it, you land on it. You don't, you don't. Going over to the Connecticut Sun, taking on the New York Liberty. This game right here, I do have some interest in, considering the fact that the Connecticut Sun are on a back-to-back. We just seen Alyssa Thomas. She played practically the whole game, 39 minutes in that game yesterday. 38.25 fantasy points, sitting at their 11-9. She got a bump down of 400. It's interesting because she's on a back-to-back. We don't really have to deal too much with back-to-backs in the WNBA. I will say that her games going up against the New York Liberty, she has actually done pretty decent in the last 2 out of 3. She's dropped 53 and 54 fantasy points. This game did go to overtime, so I'll say maybe I'll give her more of a 50-ish or between 45 to 50 fantasy points. I'll give her for this game right here, actual, because she played extra 5 minutes. AT, if you want to go up there, you can. I don't feel like you have to once again in this position and spot. I definitely feel like I can just pay down for Jonquil Jones and get the same ceiling / upside that I can get for Alyssa Thomas at 11-5, coming off of back-to-back. Probably going to be tired. Definitely going to go out here and miss a bunch of her shots once again, like she did yesterday, going up against the Phoenix Mercury when she should have been able to hit her 6 field goal made prop. Instead, she went 4 out of 10. So that's definitely an option, something that you can look to and go to right there. But I'm probably going to fade that. Instead, I personally have more interest in Taisha Harris since Dejanay Carrington is going to be out once again. We've seen her in that last game. She played 20 minutes, had the shot going, looked great out there. Dropped 25 fantasy points at 4.9. That's the value that I think you can come down to since Dejanay Carrington will be out. That bench usage will be there for Harris, and you don't have to go ahead and worry about playing Grace Berger or something like that on the slate. That's what I would look to. Tiffany Hayes, Rebecca Allen, Dewana Bonner, all options that you could possibly consider and go to. But for me, I'm not really too heavy on anybody from the Connecticut Sun side. If you guys got anything for the Connecticut Sun or you got any questions on them, just let me know. I'll probably put a synopsis or some soap note or something like that for you guys with the core that I put up on the Patreon. Speaking of, if you guys want that, check the link down in the description below. It's only $10. I promise you make your money back. Going over to New York Liberty side, like I said, I expect Sabrina Ionescu to be out. With Sabrina Ionescu possibly being out, that means that we should expect more than likely our girl Johannes to get the start. With the fact that I would expect Johannes to be slid into the starting lineup and starting, you can definitely go to her. We know Johannes, if the shot's falling, which it has been falling over her last couple of games, she's been making some crazy rainbow threes and everything. 27, 12, 14 fantasy points in 28 minutes at 27 fantasy point game. That was against the Phoenix Mercury. You can take a chance on her here in this spot. Don't hate it, don't mind it. But my main goal, my main person I'm looking at from this team is going to be Jonquil Jones. In this matchup, going up against them, 2 out of 3 going up against her former team. Another revenge game for us. Yay. She has dropped 40 and 45 fantasy points in this position and spot. Now, why am I going to want to go with Jonquil Jones over Brianna Stewart? This is kind of the same thing like what I was mentioning and talking about yesterday with the Alyssa Thomas. Why do I have to pay up for a player when I can come down and get another player that possibly can give me the exact same ceiling upside that this player that I'm trying to pay up for can give me? Brianna Stewart, I understand she's been hot. She's been on a roll over her last several games. 57, 63, 51, 31, 37 fantasy points. Great. Now, if I go ahead and I look at Jonquil Jones, 20, 15, 45, 15, 27. She's already dominated this matchup twice. You're getting a Suns team coming off of a back-to-back. I love Jonquil Jones because we have taken opposing centers going up against these Suns continuously, especially since Brianna Jones went down. That is why this is a bounce back spot for her. Her minutes is the reason why she has not really been producing. She has been dealing with some foul trouble again over the last couple of games. I'm willing to take the chance going right back to her, especially since she's priced down. She's under 10K. We haven't had her under 10K in quite some time. Stewie, she's fine. She's great. Go ahead. Play Stewie if you want to. I'm not telling you to fade Stewie, but I think the upside for Jonquil Jones, possibly to get her at lower ownership, considering that everyone and their mama is going to flock and go to Breanna Stewart in the spot. I'm gonna take my value in Jonquil Jones, who is normally lower owned on a lot of slates anyway. I'm gonna play that at that 9.6. And hey, she can go out there and she's shown she can score what Breanna Stewart has gone out here and done over those last several games. And if you look at it, Breanna Stewart in this matchup going up against the Sun, 42 and 52 fantasy points in those two games that Jonquil Jones dropped 40 plus fantasy points. Who's going to pay off that price tag and who's going to be the value between those two? I think it's going to be Jonquil Jones out of those two. With our girl Sabrina SQ also being out, definitely gives a boost to Courtney Vandersloot. Those assists, they should be there for her in this position spot. We know how Sloot is. She's a assist machine. I would definitely probably look at an assist prop if they have her sitting at like a 7.5 or 8. I would look towards that, especially because I do not expect Sabrina to play. And then also Laney should get a boost and bump with Sabrina being out. We've seen it over her past several games. She's hitting at least 20 plus fantasy points continuously. She's been very good in her time being out there on the court. I do think the shots will be there for her, especially with Sabrina being out. So that's one that you could take a dart on if you want to take a flyer on someone from the New York Liberty. Going over to the last game on the slate, looking at the Dream taking on the Minnesota Lynx. Is the Flex Friday promo today? Yes, the Flex Friday promo is today. And I kind of beat a dead horse with this Flex Friday thing, but do not play $20 on the Flex Friday. Play $33.33 on the Flex Friday. If you go 3 out of 5, you're going to get back $13.33, and you're going to get your $20 back in promo funds. So that'll be you'll pretty much get your whole bang for your buck back. If you hit that $33.33, that's a bigger bang for your buck you're going to get versus playing just that $20 that they're trying to get you to play on a 5 pick or a 6 pick. You get more bang for your buck. Play $33.33. Rob Prize Picks for what they are actually going to give you. Read between the lines. Do not just take, promo, you're going to protect me for 20. No, they're giving you back net loss. So if you make $13.33, your net loss is $20 off of that $33.33 that you're playing. That is how you play that Flex Friday. Get your money. Get your money. Get your money. All right, the Atlanta Dream taking on the Minnesota Lynx. Cheyenne Parker, I do like her here. Once again, we know what Cheyenne goes out there and she do. Very productive. In 4 of her last 5 games, she's dropped over 40 fantasy points. She has been a focal point for them. You're telling me she's going to go out here and get that Dorka defense. Granted, I don't mind Dorka. Dorka's a pretty good player. She's decent in her own right. But in 13 minutes, Cheyenne went out here and gave us 18.5 fantasy points. In 13, she is a fantasy point per minute producer continuously. She's priced up at 10.7. I understand it. I get it. She's just been popping off left and right. 25 minutes, she only gave us 20.5 fantasy points, but this is when she was up and down. Just looking at the consistency and what she's been doing to end the year, it seems like the Atlanta Dream have finally figured out, maybe we should go to Cheyenne more often, in which they have. She's been killing it. She's been amazing. She's been awesome. Definitely will go right back to that. If I'm going with anything. Now, outside of Cheyenne, you can definitely play Ryan Howard, or you can come down here and play the 8.6 Alicia Gray, going up against the Minnesota Lynx, who bleed points to opposing guards. Bleed points to opposing guards. I'm going to say it for the third time. Maybe it'll stick. Bleed points to opposing guards. 48 and 29 fantasy points in these games. Put up a fantasy point per minute in this one right here. And then also in 35 minutes, drop 48 fantasy points. This should be a back and forth affair, back and forth type game. I really do like the upside that game should have. 2 teams playing for something for the season. I definitely do like it, especially because it's not too often that we get Alicia Gray priced down. She's at 8.6 when she's been at 9K for quite some time. I really do like that. She's only rattled off 20 plus fantasy points in 4 out of her last 5 games. Definitely a spot she can go out here and actually give us a 30 to 35 more fantasy point game and possibly can get her at a lower ownership versus everyone else. Outside of that, not really looking at too many other people. Billings, if they go ahead and they start her at the power forward position, maybe you could take a flyer on her, but last couple games, 2 out of the 3 games that she has started, she's giving you over 15 fantasy points. Again, she's a flyer. I don't trust Billings and never will trust Billings, and I'm not going to start today. Over on the other side, you guys already know what it starts with. That girl Fee. 11-3 going up here into this matchup versus the Dallas Wings. I honestly do not believe that they have had an answer for her all season. 39 to 57 fantasy points. They bleed those points to opposing forwards anyway. And then looking at our girl Diamond Miller, who actually came off a pretty decent game in her last game, dropped 31 fantasy points, 25 real life points. And then going up against them, she's only played 22 and 17 minutes, 19 and 14 fantasy points. You could take a flyer on her, but Fee is going to be my main target from this game right here. And you could take a chance on Kayla McBride, but we do know Kayla McBride home road split. She plays worse at home, better on the road. Probably going to be a fade for me right here. You can definitely take a chance on the girl Dorka. 22 minutes in the last game, 23.5 fantasy points. Let's see what she's actually done going up against our girl Cheyenne Parker. She has dropped 14 and 24 fantasy points, so you can take a chance on it. I don't hate it. Maybe this would be one of those spots where you can get different, you can get funny, you can get weird, and you can drop down off a Fee if you can't afford her, and you can definitely slide in Dorka. Atlanta has been giving up at least 30 fantasy points per game to opposing centers. And if you're telling me I get a motivated Dorka into the starting lineup, and I know that girl can go out there, shoot, rebound, block, and do everything under the sun, I don't mind taking a Dorka here in this spot at all. So, but really, that's really just going to be it for me on the slate, period. Fantasy assist is at 8.5. I would have that assist prop locked and loaded and ready to go, because once Sabrina is listed as out, Sloot is going to have the ball in her hands. Sloot is going to pretty much be initiating the offense. Then this is just from my game theory and my standpoint and how I'm looking at the game. I'm expecting a big pop-off game from Jonko Jones. I know a lot of Jones points and stuff come from either A, she's going to catch and shoot three from somebody that she can actually take, or B, she's getting a seal in the post, her maybe one or two dribbles, turn, hook, or she's getting that midi to go in. And a lot of those assists that'll either come from Sloot or is going to come from Breanna Stewart. 8.5, I don't hate that. If they let me see something real quick. Let's look at something, because you guys kind of actually got me interested. Breanna Stewart, last game, she had 7 assists in that game. I know Sabrina has missed another game. I need to find the game that that Sabrina missed. Give me 1 second. I want to see the game that Sabrina missed, because if Sloot and Breanna Stewart went off together in that game with no Sabrina Ionescu assist wise, I definitely think that might be a combo prop that you could possibly look at. But let me see if I can't look at. I'm pulling it up on another screen real quick for you guys, trying to see what games did she actually miss on the season, because I know she had an injury earlier that she was out, and I wish it could tell me something good. What game was it that you missed? What game was it? Let me see if it's actually inside of your game log. Sabrina. Looking for a jump in the dates. 27, 25, 17. June. Maybe it was right here. Let's see. 11, 23. Nope. Wasn't that one right there. 4, 2, 27, 19. I know Sabrina missed some time for something, dude. I can't seem to find what I'm looking for, guys. I'm sorry. But I know Sabrina missed some time for that. But outside of that, if I'm looking at the assist production, a lot of the assists, it comes from Courtney Vandersloot, as you can see, just looking at her logs. She's just an assist queen whenever it comes down to it. 8 assists in that game going up against the Connecticut Sun when they played most recently. And that game was the overtime game. And looking at what Sloot, let's see. Sloot, 8 assists, 9 assists, 10 assists. So she's gone over it, and I'm pretty sure Sabrina played in both of those games. Let me actually look at Sabrina's logs. Sabrina, yeah, she played in both of those games anyway. 3 assists, 5 assists. And let's see, Stewart in those games right there. 3 assists, 5 assists. I would still take I'd take Sloot's assist over the 8.5 anyway. I mean, that's just banking on the fact that Sabrina's gonna miss is the biggest thing, in all honesty, that you're going with right there. I lost my screen. Oh, there we go. But yeah, I would still take that. All right, I thought BK was gonna join me today, guys, but I know a lot of his content and everything is already up for the day. So if you guys are trying to catch any of that, just check the Patreon. Link for that is down in the description below. If no one has any other questions for me, your boy has to go. I have an appointment that I have to run to. Got to go pick up kids from school and stuff. But subscribe if you guys have not done so. You guys will get all of my cores and stuff. College football, I will be dropping that on the community tab again tonight. It's a 5-game college football slate. You definitely guys don't want to miss this. If I can go live again before lot to answer any questions, I will go live. Hopefully I can, and maybe you guys can listen to us break down how we are building our lines. So definitely tune in for that. Subscribe if I'm not done so already. It's your boy Zoe. I am